Understanding your client is everything. And if you don't, it's a huge problem. So, a lot of entrepreneurs, a lot of business owners, anybody who is creating a business, the advice that we hear is you need to understand your target audience, right? Who are you selling your product, your service to? And if you've heard this before, I'm pretty sure you have been trying your best to narrow down, again, what your target audience is. And a target audience, again, is just who are you focusing on to get your product, your service, your offer out there to the world? Who is your offer for? Right? So for any business, you cannot just have a product, right? You need to have a product that somebody wants. So it's your target audience is supposed to be the people who would potentially want your product, your service, your offer. Now, the problem that I find when, as an entrepreneur, if I'm focusing on a target audience, the problem then becomes that instead of focusing or instead of getting clarity as to who these people are, what they want, just trying to figure out a group of people and their interests and what they like and things like that can be a little bit more difficult than trying to figure out just one. So I just want to give you this insight that maybe you haven't thought about, okay? So as a business person, as an entrepreneur, you want to focus on, if you have your target audience, right? Say you've decided you've looked into it. So, for example, for me, my business is called LaMorvielle Fashions, and I sell silver-plated gemstone jewelry. So, my target audience would be women, okay, and anybody really. I would say from the ages of 18 to 68, right? I'm just giving you a general, okay? So that's my target audience. Those are the people who, if I present this jewelry to, they're more likely to buy, right? And then as you, what you're taught is, okay, if you got a pool of, from 18 to 68, then you're supposed to narrow it down, get the average in there, and that's who you're focusing on. That's your niche target. The problem with that is it's too broad. Okay. I would suggest to you, instead of focusing on a huge target, right? Okay. Focus on just one person in that audience, right? So, from an entertainment perspective, I've been in entertainment pretty much my whole life. And so, one thing that you are taught when you are performing on stage is when you're performing, right, to make it more personable, to make people in the audience feel like, that you're really speaking to them, you look them right in the eyes, right? You focus on one person in the audience and you say and you speak to them, or you sing to them, or you perform to them, right? You might point to them and say, ooh, right? Okay, because you're singling them out, you're making them feel important, and you're giving them all your focus, all your attention at that moment. Okay, instead of trying to get this broad, like if you're on stage, right, and you see this huge target audience and you're just looking out at everybody, people in the crowd might start thinking, okay, then like, what are you looking at? Because you're not looking at anybody here. So what is it that you're focused on? And when you are focused on a target audience, that's exactly what tends to happen. You don't really have focus. You're focused on all these people, but it can be a little confusing and a little frustrating because, again, you're not getting as much clarity as you could. So I would suggest focusing on one person in that audience. So what you can do is be a little creative, okay? This is not something where you're going to go do research and you're actually going to go on Google and you're going to find one physical, real person that lives in this state, you got their name, their address. No. Please don't do that, okay? Instead, I would say use your creativity, your imagination, and just take a day, or just to take a little bit of time and just really focus. Who would be my ideal client who would purchase my product, my service, my offer? So, for example, for me, because of the way that I sell my jewelry, I am looking for, or my ideal customer, okay, so a little bit behind the scenes is I sell my silver plated gemstone jewelry uh, on platforms like Poshmark and Whatnot. These are similar to like eBay, where Whatnot I'm doing live auction sales. So I'm live and I'm selling my jewelry. So because of that, I am looking for women, right? Because I did mention that I sell women jewelry. So I'm looking for women around the ages between 30 and 60. So let's narrow it down. So for my ideal client, I'm going to say they're 42 years old and they shop on Whatnot. They always looking for a great deal. They love high quality jewelry and they're gemstone lovers. They love gemstones, right? All different types. And they also like to they might work somewhere where they're able to wear their jewelry and stunt a little bit, right? That's my ideal client, or part of the part of the features of my ideal client. And you can go in as deep as you want. I would say just keep diving in. What else do they do? Maybe they go to the gym and they exercise every day, and or maybe they go out with friends to cocktail parties on the weekend, so they always want jewelry for that. So it's like you need to find, or you need to create your ideal clients, like name, their age, their annual income, and then their hobbies, their interests, their likes, and their dislikes. Okay, what are the things that they don't want, that they don't need? Okay, and then those are the things that you don't offer, right? These are the things that they might have problems and they want to get rid of those problems. So now you have the solution, okay? And so the more that you think about who is my ideal client, who is the perfect person to purchase from me, okay, and then you focus on that person. Now again, you're creating this person up, okay, it's not a real person, but I guarantee you, if you start focusing on this ideal type of person, okay, you're going to start attracting them to you. And I actually put this in effect for my own business, LaMorvielle Fashions, and that's exactly what I'm doing. I am attracting my ideal clients, my ideal customers my way, who want to be a part of what I have to offer. So don't focus on the target audience. Focus on that one person in the audience that would really, be that ideal fan, right? From the concert perspective, right? You want that fan, that person in the audience who's not just in the crowd, right? They're the ones who are purchasing the backstage passes, that want to go behind the scenes, and they're paying extra money because now they want the autograph photo and they want the picture with you and they want the little interview, right? These are the ideal fans that will go above and beyond for you because they enjoy what you have to offer. So focus on your ideal client, who they are, what they do, what are their interests, what are their hobbies. Dive in deep, write that all down, and put it somewhere where you can see it every day. So when you're talking about your content, your social media content, when you're talking about how you package up your items, if you're selling products online, how are you packaging it up? How are you shipping it out to them, right? When you're doing all these little things, you can go back to your ideal client bio that you wrote out and then use that to say, okay, well, I know my ideal client would love this, so I'm going to say it this way and I'm going to present it to them. Or you might come across something and you're trying to make a decision. Should I put this in my store? Should I do this? And then you think about your ideal client. You're like, nah, I don't think they're going to like it, right? So all your decisions will be based on, or all your communications will be based on what your ideal client thinks about, wants, likes, don't likes, their hobbies, their interests, their dreams, right? So think about that, give it a little time, write it down, and you know what? Why don't you share it with me? I would love to hear who is your ideal client, who's your target audience, and maybe, just maybe, I might be able to help you, friend. All right, till next time. I appreciate you, friend. Stay bright, stay beautiful, and keep on smiling. Later, Gator. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, then like and subscribe to support Brand Impact 365 with LaMorvielle. And if you are struggling with your brand impact, then watch the next video.